Hey everybody, it's Greg Rice. We're here in Providence. We're in Providence with the owner-operator of Pristine Lawn Care, Mr. Bobby Pagliarini.
Thank you, man.
How you doing, brother?
Good, Greg. Good. How you doing, man?
I actually met Bobby through a cold call, right? Bobby's old school.
Yep.
He pounds the pavement and he gets the job done. He kept calling Nexus, hey, do you have any properties? Do you have any landscaping? Do you have anything that we can do for you? So finally, after a year,
A year, maybe even two.
Yeah. I said, you know what? Let's give him a shot. We gave him our entire landscape account for Nexus, which is 70-ish, 60-ish accounts.
It fluctuates, but it fluctuates between 60 and 70, and it was a good account for sure.
So we are very thrilled to have him on board, and that's why we wanted to feature him and his crew today. We spent some time out in the field, looking at some work you've been doing. So tell us, where did Pristine come from? How did that come about?
So Pristine, I actually run the company with my best friend. His name's Pagliarini, and he founded the company in 2018. And I believe him and his father used to have some work that they did on the side together. And when he got a little bit older, he wanted to do his own thing, as well as continue to work with the family. And he founded Pristine Lawn Care, and I partnered up with him in probably 2019, 2020, right around when COVID was happening. And I just liked the name. I was like, you know what? It's clean, it's simple, it explains what we want to offer for our clients. So we kind of just stuck with that. Where he came up with it, I'm not sure, but I like it for the brand and the reputation.
And what is your brand? What do you guys do and not do, more importantly?
Right, so we started with just simple services, so lawn care services, so obviously cutting the grass for homeowners, doing the simple mulching, trimming, planting, spring and fall cleanups. As we started to gain some traction and we expanded with our employees and the crews that we had, we started getting into more landscape services, which are just basically bigger jobs, right? Bigger plantings, bigger clean outs. We do some hardscape stuff with masonry, crushed stone, things of that nature. We also do some sod installs. We can do complete landscape renovations for you realistically. What we don't do is like the construction side of things that some landscape companies might get into. So we don't do decks, like home additions, things like that.
Carpentry.
We don't do irrigation. We don't do like sprinkler systems. All of those services, though, we have a network of individuals, similar to yourself, where we refer out. And it's not just people that, we're looking them up and recommending. It's people that we use with our own friends and family members that we're comfortable recommending to our clients.
And how about your day? What's your day like, if at all, similar to the next?
So sometimes it's structured, which is nice. But from a personal, I like to blend like my personal and professional life together, right? Like some people talk about like a work-life balance. I just think, if you can blend it together, it's a little bit more of a healthy approach. And enjoyable for me. Also, I love working, so it's kind of works when it comes together. But so my day, I usually wake up probably right around 7 a.m., sometimes 6:30. I'll try and do a short meditation, try and get into the gym, try and focus on some things that I'm grateful for, to put myself in a mental clarity. When you're in landscaping and the guys work at 7 a.m., that's not always the case. Phone's ringing.
What broke? 2 phones?
So we got one for work, one for personal. And so that sometimes can throw a wrench in things. But on a perfect day, I'll wake up, I'll get my mind right, I'll get my body right. I always say body before the bank. And then after I'm done working out,
put that on.
It's a little slogan for us. We'll start getting into the work. So my partner gets the crews rolling at like 7 a.m. So I know by the time I'm actually getting on the horn and in the office around 8, 9 o'clock, things are already in progress. But after the gym and I come home, I'm usually following up with the crews, making sure everybody's got what they need and they're at where they're at. Following up with any clients on a day-to-day basis, responding to emails and phone calls, and really just planning the rest of the week and the rest of the month and the quarter. So a lot of it's done, fortunately, behind the computer screen for me now, whereas primarily before I was pounding the pavement in the field. When that stuff kind of lets up, I'll also still run estimates. I'll still meet with homeowners, and if we have free time, we'll do quality checks. So we check on our commercial and residential client properties, just make sure they're happy with everything that's being done. And
just like we did today, kind of. You went tidying up, just making sure that it was tight.
Yeah, exactly. And with any business, there's a lot of moving parts too. There's accounting and financing and HR. So that stuff gets mixed in there. But usually that's kind of the flow of the day. And then my day usually probably doesn't stop until I go to sleep, or my girlfriend tells me that, hey, shut things down.
Stop off.
Yeah. But like I said, I like working, so to me, it's not a big deal. But we'll close down once the guys are in for the day, and we got everything wrapped up. I'll start to prepare for the next day, and usually that's when I conclude the day.
And how about in the winter?
Winter time.
What are you doing?
Fortunately, we do a lot of snow plowing.
Oh, cool.
So we're fortunate to be able to keep our guys busy. During the year, right now, we have anywhere from like 10 to 15 guys that are doing landscape work. During the winter time, those guys are all busy, but then I'd probably say the operation is close to double as well with subs. And my partner, he actually manages and facilitates, I would probably say 70% of that business. So in the winter time, I'm actually procuring things for the next landscape season. I am helping with winter operations where I need to, so I'll plug and play where I have to. But I'm bigger picture planning. So what's next for the next year, 2 years, even 3 years down the road, and what do we see for our employees? So this past winter is more so planning like, where the next management role is going to be in place as we scale up for a couple more crews, and also what can we do for our guys outside of day-to-day work? Like what benefits can we offer? What packages can we offer? What are their goals outside of work, and how can maybe we help them get to that point? A lot of it is just one, helping people, but also two, from a selfish standpoint, retention as well. But we have a very close relationship with a lot of our guys, and we like it that way. They go above and beyond for us. We go above and beyond for them. So a lot of my winter work is just up here.
True. Resetting, planning. Recalibrating.
Yeah, and I'm fortunate where my partner can run that side of the business the winter. Because if not, I wouldn't have the time to do those bigger picture things. Right. That might allow us to grow.
So a lot of people, I've made videos, I say I never, ever, ever, ever would have a partner.
Right.
How do you manage the partnership? Because now, not only do you have your interests, but you have his interests, and blending that together, and also, are you guys similar age?
Yeah, so same age.
So you know each other prior,
Correct.
sounds like from childhood,
which
helps. But I'm sure there's points of contention where you maybe disagree on something. How do you make it fit?
Make it work.
How do you do that?
So we've known each other since kindergarten. We're both 28 years old, and it was kind of like an organic thing. I never thought like, hey, I'm going to do this with a partner. It was like, things worked out. He had an opportunity, I had an opportunity. Next thing you know, we're working together, and we became partners almost unplanned. But I'll tell you, I hear that a lot. Like people are like, I could never work with a partner. I don't know how we could grow and scale and operate without it. Right. Quite frankly, he's my best friend. He's my right hand guy. But I would be lying if I said there weren't times where we did butt heads on things. I look at it from the side of the business where it's like, all right, we got to have profitability, bottom line, keep customers happy. He's like, hey, we got to keep our guys happy, make sure that. So it's a healthy butting heads where it's like, all right, we know. This is the side of the business I'm defending. This is the side of the business you're defending. We got to come together, have these disagreements, but at the end of the day, we know we love each other, and it's like, what is best for the overall business? And if we keep that as the North Star, then we really never get off. Exactly, we never get off path. So we try not to take it personally. We try and remove ego from the equation. And if it ever does get a little off path, or if it ever does get shaky, it's like, hey, let's remember, you're my guy, right? You're my best friend. And the goal here is to just provide a nice life for the both of us and our guys, and refocusing to that goal, and it kind of lets the other things that can kind of destroy partnerships. I would say primarily ego puts that stuff to the wayside.
And how about the most difficult situation that you've been in the business, whether with a client or internally? What's that? Maybe that biggest one. You're like, wow. Right.
The biggest issue or the biggest hump we had to get over is probably the beginning of last year with COVID. We took on a bunch of new clients, we lost a bunch of employees, and it seemed like every piece of equipment we were buying was breaking down.
Gotcha.
And so we were being stretched from a internal and external standpoint. And to be honest with you, how we got through it is we were both just like, whatever it takes is what it's going to take. So it's like, I got out in the field, he got out in the field, we reinvested back in the business, and we really prioritized our clients and our employees, where it's like, all right, we got to make sure our employees are happy, not being overworked. We got to make sure we manage expectations with our clients and are constantly communicating with them. And it was a couple months of hurdles where it was like, we don't know if we're going to make it through this.
Wow.
Because it's a very, you need a lot of capital to float the business, right? When clients aren't paying you for 30 days and you have 15
guys payroll.
Yeah, it can add up very quickly. So there were times where we were looking at each other and, kind of crossing our fingers and white knuckling it. But really just being fortunate and thankful and blessed that, the certain guys that did stick with us, they stuck with us, they did good work, we had good clients, and we were kind of able to weather the storm. It got us through, because at the same time during COVID, people were literally quitting because they were moving and this and that. They were going home to collect a check, sometimes more than what the business was paying them.
Right.
So, you can't always blame people, I guess. They're going to make more money doing less work. But for us running a business, it was definitely difficult. We had to get creative, and honestly, just putting our heads down is how we got through it. We didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know how we were going to do it. We were just like one day at a time.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest hurdle for us so far.
I would, to piggyback off that, a lot of landlords, right? They look at your service and they say, I don't need to landscape. I don't need to grass cut. I don't need to even snowplow. I see it because we manage 250 maybe properties at our location, and you have 60, 70 of our accounts.
Right.
What are the other 180 doing?
Right.
A lot of them don't do anything. And when you don't do anything, your property looks like absolute shit, right? The tenants don't want to live there. Right. The neighborhood starts to take notice. It's the broken windows theory. Whenever you don't take care of something, it just spawns into more. So my point is, you need to invest, whether or not with you, with any company, as a property owner, and take care of the exterior. It's just like your face and your body.
Right.
What are you doing? And I don't get it. I drive by properties, the rent's $2,000 a month and the grass is this high.
Yeah.
Do you see that a lot? Like people that are like, oh, what do you mean you charge that much? Oh, I'll skip it. What are you thinking when you see these people?
I understand, right? Everybody comes from a different financial standpoint. So if some people want to do it themselves, happy days. And it's the same thing with us. Like we know that some landscapers are cheaper, more expensive. When I see those people, I think, you want to take pride in ownership and you want to take pride in what you have. And even if you're a renter, like sometimes we'll get people who rent properties and we're cutting the lawn for them and they're paying out of their own pocket. So when I see it, it is at first it's a little confusing, but then I'm like, you know what? I don't know everybody's story.
Yeah.
But to your point, it's only going to improve your look, your performance, and the value. So obviously we're a big supporter in taking care of really everything in your life. How you do anything is how you do everything, and simple as cutting the grass, right? Or making your bed in the morning. We think, it's just simple things should be done and it'll compound. When I see that stuff, I scratch my head though. Or I'll call and I'll say, hey, is this a vacant house?
Yeah. Are you selling this?
Is this home for sale? Like we were talking about that earlier today. And sometimes you'll find people like, no, I live here,
Oh, really?
Like, okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. So there's all different things that go on.
Yeah.
And then we get calls from people who are out of state and they don't know that's happening. The landscaper hasn't showed up for months, right? Or the landscaper went out of business, or their family member stopped cutting the grass. Now they're getting fines from the city. So it does, if you don't invest in landscapers or in a mower for yourself, like the city will start to fine you.
Oh yeah.
So one way or another, it's got to get done.
Insurance companies, bank, whatever.
Yeah. And also getting damaged properties. I don't know if you've seen it, but vines, like we're pulling stuff off of properties where gutters are now falling off.
Yep.
Vinyl is peeling
away.
away.
Almost grabs the house.
Yeah.
And when you pull that,
it's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah, we stay away from it. We tell people, like, if it has gotten that bad, we'll clip it at root, we'll kill it. But, we don't want to be pulling that off because it's going to cause so much damage. Even foundation damage, right? Like, stuff can happen with foundations if you're not maintaining the roots growing around. So, from a financial standpoint, it's almost like insurance, right? Why do you spend that money on insurance? So, God forbid, if a bigger expense comes down the road, you're covered. Landscaping is a little bit like that, right? To a lesser degree, but it's like you're spending this money so you don't have these bigger expenses that compound later on down the line.
I go quadding a lot in Foster.
Nice.
And shout out to Rob Chofé of Chofé Home Services. I interviewed Rob. He has countless acres, and what we'll do is we'll see these old houses, and it's amazing to see what the forest has done.
Yeah.
It's such a remarkable thing. Like, these houses maybe are 100 years deserted.
Right.
And it's like just
takes them right
like
over.
Mother Nature takes over.
Yeah.
So I see all like people are worried about saving and changing the environment and all this stuff, and it's just like it's a force way bigger than any human behavior.
Right.
And it needs to be treated with respect, is how I think. But we can't change it. You just have to manage it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So cut your grass.
Yes.
And if they want to get in touch with you, how do they do so?
So they can call us. Our business line, it's 401-719-6984. They can call us or they can email us. Typically, I tell people they can email me personally, bobby@pristineri.com.
We'll put that right there.
Yeah, I like to I'm hyper aware of communication, so I typically get back to people within the hour.
Yeah.
But if not within the day.
Yeah,
you know. It's almost like you're texting me when you email. It's like right back and forth. And you're the same way, which is great too, especially working with somebody like that. But yeah, either call or email. We even have a website, so it's pristinelawncareinc.com. And if you go on the website, you can actually fill out your information, and it typically spits out an instant estimate. That is under construction right now, but you can still put your information in, and then we'll respond to you right away.
Yep. And all the invoicing, like he does neat and clean invoicing. You can pay online.
Yep.
You could also request jobs. Like if you're a current client, you have that new project button.
Correct. Yep.
And I haven't done it because I have direct access.
Yeah.
But just tools like that make it, I feel, more comfortable, and consumers like that than having to wait for somebody to call you back or hearing back a week later. So Bobby is technology focused, but also old school mentality. So it's a good blend.
Good blend, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
I appreciate it. Thank you,
Great job.
man. Absolutely.
And if you have any questions for me, put them in the comment field below. Once again, Greg Rice here at the Rubber Loss.
Rubber Loss. Thank you.
In Providence, Rhode Island.